When your heart is racing at the speed of light, and you feel like you got nowhere else to go.
Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jelena, and I am the founder of the Mamas Who Brunch Social Club. And I want to thank Becky Feldman. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk about community. So glad to be here. I'm so glad you ladies have decided to jump on here and learn a little bit about the community that I've started. I will talk through the social club and how you can get involved. I'm a Christian, I'm a wife, I'm a mom of a toddler. She's 18 months old. I was born and raised in Texas. I moved to the Midwest about 12 years ago, and now I live in Sunset Hills, Missouri. My daughter is the 5th generation born in St. Louis from my husband's side. So we're very connected with the St. Louis community and the city. We would come here and visit during the 4th of July every year. And so we decided to move back to St. Louis after COVID. So we've been here about 4 years. I'm a dog mom. I work in corporate tech sales at Cisco Systems. I started a podcast in the beginning of this year, and I've also started writing a book. I love to travel. My husband and I spent the first 9 years of our marriage traveling. We've been to Europe, Japan. We would go to New York every single year, and we hope to go again this year. It's definitely my favorite place. I also love interior design and homemaking. So my goal is to be a well-rounded woman first and to encourage other women to do the same. I really struggled in the beginning of being a brand new mom, trying to find my identity. And in the beginning of my motherhood journey, I struggled with postpartum depression. And that's when I learned that mental health is so important. I want to talk about the mission of what the Mamas Who Brunch is. This is a social club where mamas come together for meaningful connection to collectively give to nonprofits based in St. Louis. So I really felt to do something. I work in corporate America. I've done well for myself financially. I'm enjoying life, but also I want to do something with the platform that I have. I think there's a trend on social media right now where people are telling women to like quit their jobs, be a stay-at-home mom, which is great if that's what you want to do. But I've decided to use my corporate position to help promote change. And I wanted to invite other moms to do the same. Something that's very low lift, nothing that takes a ton of time because we don't have a lot of time. But once a quarter, we meet for brunch. The membership is completely free, but it is ticketed. And the net proceeds go to a nonprofit in St. Louis that helps families and children in need. We also partner with nonprofits. So if they're looking for someone to host and run a fundraiser brunch for them, I also offer those services. So this is my why. I started talking a little bit about my experience with postpartum. I started a faith-based motherhood podcast. I work from home. I obviously have not been in St. Louis that long, and I wanted to meet other mothers and connect. And so I thought this would also be a great way to share my faith and also have my faith encouraged by the guests that I would have on my podcast. It has been a huge blessing. I just recorded my 27th episode, and each Tuesday at 10 a.m., we have a new episode that just shares a motherhood story, talking through faith, love, hope, joy. It's uplifting, going through the scriptures, and it has been a huge blessing for me. And many other mothers have reached out to me and shared that it's done the same for them. So as I started doing the podcast, I started learning of disparities in our city. There is such a gap of access, education, resources between mothers in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. Nearly 1 in 5 residents live below the poverty line, which is significantly higher in the city compared to surrounding county areas like where I live now. I actually lived in the city for 3 years before I moved out here, and I saw there were so many needs, and it really alarmed me to want to do something about it. But I think sometimes when you want to help, it feels overwhelming. Like, what can I possibly do to make a difference? We can't change poverty alone, but what we can do is do something meaningful to make a difference if we collectively do that with other mothers. So, like I said, this started as a podcast in February 2026, and I do release a new episode every Tuesday, but I decided to do something more. So I created the Motherhood Social Club in April of 2026. The name The Mamas Who Brunch was inspired by the Ladies Who Lunched, which historically is associated with women that got together for lunch that were affluent, and they wanted social visibility. This was obviously well before social media, but it described a class of women that got together through long lunches looking for conversation and presence. It wasn't all negative per se, but I think the perception of this has been negative. But it was not about getting together to eat. It was about the access, being seen, and having that connection. I want to redefine what that means today. the modern woman can connect with other women to do something meaningful. And it's not about having status, it's not about where you went to high school, but it's about stewardship. It's not about being exclusive, but it's about impact and how we can help other moms in need. So our first brunch we hosted was May 8th. We raised over $10,000 for Lydia's House, which helps women surviving domestic abuse and violent situations. This is a cause near and dear to my heart because I've had family and friends go through this experience. The morning was very impactful. We had 35 ladies. I hosted this at my house. I felt that it was very important to share my heart with others. And this is the way that I did that. We had some amazing sponsors. Mom Moment was there, BridgeLink. I had so many of the women from the tech community there, which I so appreciate. We had a vendor, Good Girl, to make permanent jewelry. So this opened my eyes too to incorporating mother-owned businesses into these events. So my goal is to find organizations that we can raise money for, all locally based in St. Louis, and bring mother-owned businesses in as vendors to have these unique curated brunch experiences. So our upcoming brunch is at Studio Magnolia. We are about 3 weeks away, and it's about infertility. So Making a Miracle supports women going through their motherhood journey. Some of them are not mothers of physical children, but they hope to be. And then others have children and are trying for a second child. There's women that have experienced child loss. The Hope Network is owned by Danielle Faye. She is such a warrior. I got to meet her on social media. This event's going to be just so much fun. We've got 5 vendors. We've got a couple sponsors. We're having tea, brunch. There's going to be a mini book fair supporting mother-owned authors. We have a panel of women that will speak about their journey through infertility. And then I also had an amazing gift. South City Sound is donating a healing sound bath to this event, and everything's going to be hosted at Studio Magnolia. So I am so thrilled to have another brunch to raise funds for another nonprofit based in St. Louis, helping women in St. Louis. So super pleased. And then I have 2 other brunches in the works for the rest of the year. Excited to continue this mission to bring mothers and women together to support each other and to brunch, have some fun, but have it for a cause. So next steps that I would love for you to do is to join the brunch club. You can join through the website. The membership is completely free, and there's also business memberships as well. You'll be the first person to find out about the business opportunities, sponsorships, as well as vendor opportunities for our next events. I also would love for you to find a nonprofit in St. Louis that you want to support. Raise awareness for that nonprofit, support a cause, support other mothers in St. Louis. There's so much need. There's not enough people willing to give of their time, and there is an assumption that there is. And the needs are so overwhelming that I think people just give up because they think there's nothing they can do. But we can all do something small, and those small collective efforts can create massive impact. I also want to invite you to listen to the podcast. It's on YouTube. It's the Mamas Who Brunch podcast. I also want to welcome you if you're a mother looking to be a guest. I'd love to talk to you. I have some amazing women that have been on the podcast, and we have several lined up. So want to invite you to do that. And then, of course, donate and participate. Don't just become a member. Be engaged, right? Get tickets, engage with the motherhood community. There's so much connection and joy. I have made already in this process, made some wonderful friendships with women that I align with. And it inspires me to do more and to do better. And it makes me a better parent as well. So these are the action items that I would love for you to get from this. Whatever you do, raise awareness for people that are in need, whether that's donating, raising funds, sharing information online that could possibly help somebody. There are a lot of resources out there, but there's a lack of knowledge. So the more that we can do to help other mothers, the more impact that we can have. Also follow us on social. So here's the link to the website. And then again, my name is Jelena. I am on all the social sites. I promote all of our events on these sites, as well as share stories about other mothers and impact. And I would love for you to be part of this journey. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to share this vision with you. This is all brand new, but it has come together very quickly. And there's a lot of interest and activity around this effort to use our platforms for good. I think whatever you decide to do, whether that's be a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, an entrepreneur, I think you decide and chart the path that's best for you in this experience, but let's use whatever platform that we have to promote change. So thank you so much for listening and for learning a bit about the Mamas Who Brunch. Whatever you decide to do, we all have such a voice with social media. we can be as present or as invisible as we want. And I think sometimes it's easy to kind of fall back through the seams and like kind of get caught up in our own world. And we forget that there's so many needs out there. And when you give, I have learned that it's so rewarding and meaningful for me personally. The more that I give, the better that I feel. And there are two types of people in the world. There are givers and takers. And I want you to ask yourself, which one am I? Am I a giver or am I a taker? And the Mamas Who Brunch welcomes you to be a giver in a very fun, meaningful way. We're not just raising money for nonprofits, we're helping business owners. We're raising awareness of needs. We are bringing attention to real issues that exist in our city to where we can do something about it and make a difference. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this event. Thank you so much, Becky, for inviting me. And I look forward to making a difference in St. Louis with you. Thank you so much.